All right, everyone. Welcome back to the Sell It SaaS podcast. I am your host, Will Padilla. This is episode 33 with one of my best friends, Morgan Ingram. You guys have heard him on the podcast a couple times before. Today, we are going into the world of sales training and sales trainers. You guys may not know this. We may have shared it on previous episodes, but Morgan and I's friendship actually started on a sales training for a company I worked at called Grin. Morgan was working for JB Sales at the time. And during that, it was a Zoom session. We were doing cold call training. And, you know, like I am and like I was always throughout school, was always the one to raise my hand and ask questions. No one was giving him anything. I said, I need help. Help me with my cold calls.
Yeah.
And that sparked our friendship. So today, guys, this is the world of in-person sales training. If you're an executive, you're looking for a sales trainer, look no further. We got Morgan Ingram here in the house. Sales training is extremely impactful for myself and a lot of the reps that I talk to. I've been in corporate software sales for 5.5 years. However, most of the learnings that I've actually really taken and applied have been from external sales trainers that my companies have hired. It's extremely important. So excited for this episode today. Morgan, great to have you, bro.
Yeah, that's great. So I'm extra excited because it's episode 33 and I just turned 33. So this is fate. So here we are.
Had to do it, bro.
Yeah.
Let's go. Yeah, I'm excited to have you, man. It's, kind of for the audience, we haven't done an episode in about a year.
It's been a while.
So kind of let the audience know, all right, what's new in Morgan's world?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing for me is my commitment to being the face and voice of social selling and innovative outbound. That's been my North Star. And at AMP Social, which is the company that I run, our mission right now is to make sales more human in an AI world. And the reason I say that is because, yes, AI is important. I'm not saying it's not going away, but we also have to remember on how to articulate and convey whatever we're trying to convey on a human level so that once we get responses or understand what that means, we can input that into AI and amplify that. So that's really been the biggest thing that I've been working on. I know we're going to go into the sales training and other things I'm working on, but that's my commitment right now, and that's the mission.
Okay, so the mission is just being the face of social selling.
Yeah.
When it comes to basically being known across the industry, not only for sales training, but that you specifically specialize in the social selling aspect of it.
Correct. And I want to go more into that. I think when people think social selling, like when you think social selling, what do you think that means actually?
I think social selling means posting on LinkedIn to generate leads.
Okay. So we've had a lot of conversations internally, and I'd say I have a director of operations. I have someone who's a fractional brand designer. He used to work with Dave Ramsey. And so we've been having really good conversations around what does social selling mean? And it means that, but it's more than that. So it's posting on LinkedIn, but it's reaching out proactively on LinkedIn. It's, are you having conversations with people in person? Are you picking up the phone? Social selling really is about, are you being social and willing to have conversations? Because now we live in a world, especially with Gen Z and everything of that nature, like no hate on them, but like they aren't willing to pick up the phone and have conversations. The number one skill set for most sales leaders are trying to learn for their reps is how to have conversations. So what we're really focusing on is, yes, the LinkedIn component, but social selling to me is way bigger than that. It's how do you actually have conversations as a human to convert those opportunities and close more deals.
Okay, so heard on that. We're aligned. I think I'm grown up in a sales world where I was in person, doing the whole Chicago grind. So I'm used to picking up the phone, but I think the new sellers probably are a little bit green on that. But I did hear that Gen Z is craving social interaction. They're actually the generation that is most wanting and craving to go back in the office.
Yeah.
Which I saw in the
That's a crazy stat. I didn't know
Business
that.
Insider. Yeah. They're actually wanting to go back in because they've been on Zoom for so long. They're feeling lonely. They're looking for connection. They're looking for relationships. They're looking to just meet new friends. That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
So I do feel like there is a resurgence of that.
I love that.
But tell me about this world of sales training. Kind of walk the audience through how long you've been in it.
Yeah.
How did you get started? And, kind of walk us through what brings you here now and what the resurgence is for 2026.
Yeah. So I've been doing top of funnel outbound for a decade. I can now say this for a decade. I was an SDR starting out in 2016. So for people listening in, there's a lot that you can accomplish within a year, within a decade, starting as an SDR. And I didn't have any prior experience. I didn't know what a CRM was. I didn't know what automation was. I didn't know how to cold call. I didn't know anything. I was actually really bad when I first started. So to even be here is just blessed to now coach people how to do it when I was really bad.
Right.
But yeah, I've been doing sales training for about 4 to 6 years. I took a break between I would say late 2022, early 2023 to about mid 2025 is when I got back into it. I realized I really needed a break because I was just moving so fast. When I was with JB Sales, our number was $1 million in revenue every single year.
That's high.
With the 15K ACV. So do the math on how many deals I had to close per year. Never missed the number, by the way.
You're well over 40 deals a year.
Yeah. So I'm doing 50 to 60 trainings per year.
That's a lot.
On site. So just give everybody context for 4 years. So that was a lot. It's like touring as an artist. It's super fun and the adrenaline's really high, but it is a lot. And respect to John, I absolutely love him and he taught me a lot, but the work was a lot. And so I realized I was like, man, I can't do this anymore. That's why I took that time to do other things that I did with my business. But now I have a resurgence because I feel like there's a lot of people out there that need help with the skill sets. I reframed the way that I was thinking about sales training because I had a different viewpoint on it that wasn't helping me. And now I feel rejuvenated to level up people in the craft of social selling, outbound, whatever it is, to book meetings with target accounts is the main focus in a human way. So that's the experience on what I've done so far. The companies have been Salesforce, Google, Snowflake, Slack, any tech company you name, I've gone in and helped the team at some capacity. And now I'm doing it in a very unique and different way. Again, we're going to talk about that.
Yeah, no, it's all super exciting to me. It's how our friendship started was that JB sales training. And you mentioned you had over 50 bookings a year.
Yeah.
You were there for quite some time. A lot of travel involved.
Lots.
You love to travel. Did that spark that? Yeah,
great question. So I had never left the country until 2017. So what I don't do the math right now, but it was a while. I didn't get my passport until 2015 when I graduated college, I think, something like that. So like I didn't go anywhere. I think I only been to Florida, Alabama, and in Atlanta.
Yeah, Southeast.
Yeah. And I always wanted to travel. I just didn't know how to do that. So when I had the opportunity to join John and he said, hey, you're going to train and coach on what you've already done in this SDR role and you get to travel the world, I was like, yeah, that's a no-brainer to me because that's what I've always wanted to do. And first country I ever went to was India. So I got literally thrown into madness. It's a different story for another time. I got thrown into madness and I was like, this is insane. But once I passed that, every other country to me, it doesn't bother me.
Right.
Like I can go to most countries now and like it's whatever. Like I recently just got back from Japan and like that wasn't that overwhelming in comparison to when I went to India.
Yeah.
So I'm super grateful that that was my first one because now wherever I go, I can figure it out.
Yeah, definitely. I'm obsessed with YouTube and watching like foreign travel videos.
Yeah.
And like India, definitely.
India's crazy.
When you get there, it's the traffic, the way they drive on the road.
It's different, bro.
It just seems very chaotic for an American just stepping into that for the first time. So,
it is.
Man, that's a Mr. Worldwide now. You know what I mean? Start off with the hardest and everything's easy.
Everything else is easy.
So,
yeah.
Just don't find your way to North Korea. So.
Yeah. No Korea rush. You might want to stay away.
That's probably up there on the hardest.
Yeah. Stay away from those.
Outside of those. Okay. So I love to travel too. So with all the travel that you did for your sales training, I mean, this is kind of, I feel like there is two types of people. I personally do enjoy traveling for work, but it is so exhausting. I don't think people understand. I think people who get in are new and think to themselves, I'm traveling for work. This is the most exciting thing. But can you talk about the wear and tear going across the country, maybe even across the world had on you over those years, specifically when it comes to traveling?
I think it depends. Well, first and foremost, traveling for work also depends on what you do for work.
Okay.
Right? Like if you're going in for like 1 or 2 meetings in person, that's not as much as what Iowa was doing, which is 8 to 5.
Yeah.
Training a sales team and having their attention the entire time. And you're doing, I did 3, sometimes 4 of those a week. That's very hard to do.
Very.
Most people listen.
Emotionally done.
Yeah, most people listening, you're salespeople, right? You don't have like you do not have a attention span that's very long.
No.
It's very short attention span. So to captivate that audience for that long of a period of time is something I had to learn, but also it is very draining. Once I'm done, I'm like,
right.
I'm trying to like get lit, to be fair, right?
No,
like,
for sure.
Because it's just so much energy that you gave to the audience.
Yeah.
And but also as well, your adrenaline is so high, you don't really realize how tired you are until your week is over. So like so to give you context on how this works, right? I would do an on-site training Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, typically. So let's just say I was in Atlanta at the time. So let's say I had to go to New York, I got to go to Chicago, I got to go to Dallas. So I'm leaving Monday to travel. I'm staying the night at whatever I'm in New York. I'm getting up, doing the training. I'm getting up early, doing the training. And then as soon as the training's over, I got to go and get on a plane. So I'm like, hey guys, appreciate y'all. I'm out. Get in a car, go to the next city. I'm in Chicago. I got to wake up, do the same thing again, different groups. So I got to assess the energy and the vibe, right?
It's like an artist.
Exactly. Then it's like, all right, cool. I performed there. Great. I'm getting in that. I'm going to the next city. I got to do the same thing again, right? And then by the time I get home on the weekend, I mean, my friends in Atlanta could tell you I was so exhausted. I really didn't want to hang out with anyone.
Yeah.
Not that I was antisocial. I was just drained because I was like given so much energy, and it's a lot. So, but the adrenaline from Tuesday to Thursday, I didn't feel it as much because it's like you come in and it's like as if you're doing a concert. Now, I've never done it. You're performing. And it's like you're geeked. But when you come home, you're like, I don't want to talk to anybody. So I mentally had to prepare for those weeks to be like, cool, I'm about to go into performance mode. And I really got to lock in on what I got to do. And I try to get as much sleep as possible, but it was hard because you're changing time zones too. Because sometimes I'm going West Coast, Mid Coast, to East Coast. Like there was a lot going on. But that was a normal week.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
So on the sales training topic.
Yeah.
When you went in person for sales trainings.
Yeah.
How often was it that the top reps were the ones most engaged?
Ooh, that's a great question. I would say I'd say an even split.
Okay.
And if anyone ever wants to get into consulting or sales training or coaching, it doesn't matter. Before you go into an organization, you always want to ask this question is, what is the pulse of the team right now?
Yeah.
I always ask that question because one time I didn't ask and I realized that the team, their VP of sales got fired like a couple weeks before and they were just, all of them were like, are we next? And so they just weren't really paying attention. Has nothing to do with me. It's just like the state of the pulse of the team was off. So I always ask, what's the pulse of the team? And then I try to get a gauge. And then this is another tip as well. If you go into sales training or sales coaching, is you want buy-in from the top reps immediately. So the way I did that is I had them on the prep call before I even got on site. And I just said, hey, here's what we're going to talk about. Tell me what you think is fluff and tell me what you actually want to learn. And then I could be like, all right, cool. This is what we're going to talk about.
Ooh.
And I remember this so vividly. And this is when I was like, we'll do this. I was on an offsite and it was in San Francisco. It was a group of 40 reps, SDRs and AEs. And I'm about a year into training. So I'm good, but I'm still learning, right? And SDR AE crowds transparently would always throw me off because if you have certain reps in the rooms that are AEs and they don't like you, they can turn the crowd on you.
Dude, I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
You see a top rep not paying attention and showing disrespect, then you think, okay, this is what I should do.
Yeah. And 15 minutes in, the top rep was like, hey, everybody should pay attention. Morgan knows what he's talking about. And everyone locked in, like probably one of the best sessions I ever had. Now, does that happen every single time? No, but the goal is like, I want the top reps to lean in. Now, there are some top reps that everyone just knows that they just don't pay attention and like, but then again, They just know that about them. But you want to get buy-in from the top reps as fast as possible, and you want them to lean in. So I always would have something called time of value, where I'd always show something based on what I knew about the company that like, hey, if you did this in 5 minutes, you could book a meeting from it. So then people were like, okay, this person knows what they're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the average attention span of a rep that you're coaching on average? Because you mentioned earlier in the call or earlier in our discussion that sales reps attention span is quite low.
I don't have the data on that. I mean, I could make it up, but I don't have the data on that. But I do have this. So when someone leaves an on-site training, if it's all day or even like a virtual event that you do, they lose 87% of the information they just heard.
Whoa.
A lot. So that's why it's so important. And what we do today is incorporating exercises, follow through. Hey, do this after. Here's a video on what happened here so that people can go back and replay and figure out what happened.
Okay.
But 87% in terms of after the training is over, they do not retain the information, which is why there's certain things we do on the back end for coaching programs that we have after the on-sites that we've built to make sure that there is a retention. We don't want a cost of inaction of the investment of the training. You can throw 40 reps in a training for 2 days, but 87% of it's going to go out the window. And then it's like, what was the point of that? And so we've been really trying to solve how to make sure to get ahead of that as much as possible. But the average sales rep, I don't know what the exact is, but it is low. It's not high.
How much of it is you kind of not acting like a coach, like a sports coach, but you have a larger team.
Yeah.
There's going to be people who maybe want to not be as involved.
Yeah.
And we know human psychology, when you call on someone and you get them involved, they're going to be more likely to remember that scenario.
Yep.
How often is it where you're calling out everyone in the training?
Yeah. So this is a great question, and I want to provide a distinction. And I know Tom's come on this podcast as well, and I broke this down to him as well to be like, hey, like this is how you need to look at this. So the bar for sales training is extremely low. If you mention to someone that you're a sales trainer, they're going to gloss their eyes over it. I don't even like introducing myself as that because people are like, oh, sales trainer, you probably don't know you probably can't sell. You probably just do a professional presenter. You don't know what you're doing. Because the bar is so low, because most sales trainers just come in and they have their slide decks and they can't contextually give you answers.
It seems that they haven't sold in decades.
Right. So what I learned from John and what I still do today is that, hey, we're just sales reps that happen to train.
Yeah.
But the distinction here is sales training is just like, hey, I have this information and I'm going to directly share this with you and you can take it and go move forward. I do a component of that, but what I'm actually better at and what leads to real retention and for people not to drop off is coaching. So just like you said, I'm a way better coach than I am a trainer.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone that's listening in, if you message me and said, here's, I don't know how to break into this account, I can figure it out.
Yeah.
I know how to break into the account. I can figure out an exact scenario and give you exactly what to do. I'm better at that than training people. So I'm more geared towards coaching. So when I go into an organization, I don't just show up. We run something called a rev diagnostic, which is a revenue engine validation. And so what we do is we have an understanding of what your outbound messaging are you doing? What is the conversion rates on those outbound? What tech stack are you using? What's your LinkedIn profile? I can look at your outbound motion and tell you, yeah, if we just do these things, you're going to book more meetings. Because I've just seen so many outbound teams. I've trained over 300-400 teams. Mm-hmm. So I just intuitively, subconsciously can see, yeah, you should probably go about it this way. And then when I go into an organization, I tell everybody, I'm going to act as if I'm a rep of your org, and I'm going to tell you exactly what I would do to be a top rep at this company if I was in your shoes. So I'm literally taking their accounts and sales and saying, this is how you go after it. I'm looking at their messaging and saying, you should send a video at this time, because I can understand exactly contextually what to do once I have the information. And that's where I come in as a difference, because I've been doing the outbound for a decade. I've been on the platform for LinkedIn for a decade, and I've trained a lot of teams, so I know what the outbound motion is. So I'm able to speak to those things in confidence versus not all, but some sales trainers only know their shtick and cannot actually have a conversation with you around the outbound, and they're going to deflect you. That's just what happens.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, the times I've gotten the sales training has been more the coaching,
Yeah.
right? So, okay, Will, let's go through an account.
Right.
What are we doing here? Group, what would you recommend?
Yeah.
But I don't like that because a lot of the team members, you never know who's actually giving you real information. That's why I like a consultant like you who
Yeah.
comes in as a coach. You're unbiased. You don't have ties to a specific person. You're
Yeah.
just like, what's going on here? Let's look at some deals. And
Yeah.
this is what typically works best for other clients that I train.
Yeah.
So I want a consultant always to coach me. I learn the most. I mean, no shade to any of the managers I've had in my past. They've been great.
Yeah.
But there's this personal aspect where they have emotional ties to me just as I have to them.
For sure.
Which I get. Okay. So I'm probably in an anomaly of someone who really wants to learn more tactics.
Yeah.
Because I know that learning more tactics will then make me more relatable in sales calls, which then makes me more money, which then closes me more deals, this whole thing. So I'm just curious, out of the people that you train, the teams, do you find that there's a difference in engagement from SDRs versus AEs?
No.
Oh.
The only difference is the expectations you set and are you committed? The reason that most AEs will come in and maybe not be as engaged if SDRs are there because they weren't told what it was. They just got thrown in because they wanted to make sure that their investment was good. So they'll be like, let's add more numbers. And I challenge leaders on that and say, that doesn't really help you. Because if you add in these AEs who don't care, then that energy will then go to the SDRs and they're not going to ask questions because they're intimidated by the AEs. And now we just wasted money. There's no reason to do that. So when
go ahead.
So when I talk to sales leaders, I'm like, yeah, you can add these people in, but like, it's not going to do anything for you unless they're committed. So there's two things. One is the expectations of being like, hey, this is what we're here to accomplish. I'm working with a group of AEs right now, and they go after accounts that are $200 million to $1 billion in revenue. But we're in the weeds trying to figure things out, outbound, et cetera. The engagement is very high. They're asking excellent questions, but these are pretty seasoned reps, right? They're not going after Joe Schmo accounts.
No.
And the commitment level is, are you willing to learn something new and embrace that? And so our program is called Sales Team 6 because we only want the people who are committed. If you're not committed, I don't want you in my workshop.
Yeah.
I genuinely just don't care. Because
why are you here?
Why are you here? And also, it's not because I'm saying my information's elite and I don't want you. It's for the people in the workshop.
Right.
Because if two people are not really wanting to be there, those people will not ask the questions they need to ask to get better. You just mentioned it earlier. You were willing to ask those questions, but there probably were some people that were like, Will, why are you asking all these questions?
Yeah, they thought they didn't want to hire me. They thought I was too aggressive.
That's what I'm saying.
But that's how I was raised up in a hardcore sales environment in downtown Chicago.
Yeah.
Walking the streets of downtown, going to CFOs, hard selling.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the environment I grew up in, and they grew up in the software sales environment. And I came in and I said, the only way that you get things is by asking questions.
Yeah, that's it.
And again, it was like what you said, there was the too cool for school mentality, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to ask questions because it might make me look dumb. Well, my whole mentality is to prospects and to sales reps everywhere, there are no dumb questions.
No.
I genuinely don't believe that. If you're going to ask a question, it means there's a reason behind every question.
100%.
So they're going to answer it to you. And to your point, if you're not going to ask questions, if you're going to throw a fit, why are you here?
There's no point in you being here. If you do not think this information is relevant to you, I will not personally take offense.
Yeah.
But I will take offense if you're here and you didn't want to be here and now it's derailing from the learnings of everybody else. So we have people opt into the workshops. It's like leaders, they have to opt in and they actually have to want to be here.
Yeah.
And if they don't, or you add people in that didn't want to be there, then this is what happens.
This is so random. So this question comes from something that I've heard across the industry.
Yeah.
I've experienced myself. As a sales trainer from an outside perspective, do you see that SDRs actually are somewhat intimidated by AEs?
I think sometimes that can occur. I don't think that happens all the time. But sometimes, yeah. And also depends on the culture of the company too, right? Like, how is it set up? Like, some companies are very technical. So the SDRs, they may not be even get a chance to go to AE until 2-3 years in, right? So then that intimidation factor is a lot higher. But in some orgs, like, it's not like that because you can become an AE within 12, 14
Yeah.
months. And so, like, I maybe not be as intimidated. I think it's based on how the culture is set up and what type of communications that the SDR and AE have, et cetera.
Yeah, that's a good call. I just have seen it from a software sales rep myself. The SDR function,
Yeah.
highly respected, but it's also kind of I don't know, you look at them kind of like JV.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
like the AEs are like, oh, we're on the varsity team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And SDRs are more so like JV, not in terms of skill set or tenacity,
Yeah.
but just overall, I guess, rank in the company.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that that can be a little bit of a deterrent sometimes is SDRs want to be AEs, but AEs are kind of already in the role that they desire to be in.
Yeah.
So there's not a want to go to that next level.
I see it as college and pros.
College and pros. Yeah.
Like, SDRs are, let's think of college football. And then you got, okay, you did well enough, you can go to the NFL. Like, that's the way to do it. And the thing is that we're seeing it in real time. Sorry, I got to roast Bill Belichick because you beat my Falcons, so I'm roasting you.
Yeah.
So if we look at the Patriots, right, when he was locked in with Tom Brady, like, he's an amazing NFL coach. It's clear, and let's see what happens next year, maybe recruiting, I get it, but it's clear he ain't really cooking in college football.
No.
So there's different skill sets to coach and lead those teams. There are AEs who are good at closing, but they have no idea how to prospect. Now, that keeps us going as a company because then they got to bring your boy in. But, like, there are AEs who can sell and they do not know how to prospect at all.
Yeah.
And there are SDRs who can run circles around them, right? And they will be better AEs. And
Yeah.
I had a SDR that I coached a long time ago. He ended up being one of the best AEs at the company because he just knew how to prospect and no one else knew how to do it. So I think that if you look at it from a college perspective, that's how I look at it. And then obviously you can go to pros. But hey, look, some people in college, they're great in college, but they're not good in the pros. But also there's some people that from a pro level, they got really, really good, right? And they were not good in college. So you got the vice versa. So it's just the way to think about it.
Have you ever found that an SDR who's really good at prospecting and booking meetings is actually a not so good AE?
It happens sometimes if they're not willing to dive into the craft of discovery, for sure. Now, it's a less likelihood for them to lose because they're just gonna have more at bats and they're gonna figure it out, right?
Yeah,
for sure. So I'd rather have the person who can book a lot of meetings because, like, we have a lot more data to play with to figure out why you're not closing deals, why you're not asking the right questions, right? So it's a low likelihood that they'll be unsuccessful. But at the same time, like, I have seen people who are really good at booking meetings, but they just can't close.
right.
Yeah.
I see on LinkedIn you posted about this, I think it was a 8-step or certain step prospecting sequence that you do.
I know what you're talking about.
Spider-Man one?
The Spider-Man, yeah.
So how much of that is your formula for teams? Is it, hey, this sequence that I have will yield you good results versus is it just them touching the account as many times as possible?
So it's not about touching the account as many times as possible because we don't want to have random activity. So when I go in and coach B2B sales teams, they're typically going after mid-market to enterprise accounts. So again, around the range I mentioned, probably $200 million to $1 billion accounts, even Fortune 500 accounts. Typically that's what I'm doing, right? Typically it's not like high velocity. So when I mentioned that sequence, first and foremost, you're not going to just be able to write one tailored email and get a meeting. There's Yahoo, there's Google, there's so much noise. Like, even if it's really good, I'm not saying you're going to get a response immediately. You got to touch them a couple times. Now, the reason I give people, it's a 20-day, 9 to 11 touch sequence, and we call it the web method. And the reason for that is if you think about a spider, when it builds its web, it has multiple anchors to support the web. If one of the anchors goes off, then the web in totality will fall. That's why they have multiple of those anchors to capture people, but also to make sure the web stays. So when we call it the web method, you need to have multiple different touches to get into the account, because I don't know how you receive and absorb information. You may like a cold call, you may like a LinkedIn video, you may like a LinkedIn message or an email. And we were in a coaching session last week, and someone was like, well, I don't like videos and I like cold calling. And I was respectfully, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Take what you feel is right out. Your feelings have to be completely removed. When you're prospecting people, I don't really care what you like.
Right.
It matters what they like. And I don't like email, but I'm still going to email people.
Right.
If you don't like cold calling, it doesn't really matter. You need to cold call them. If you don't like LinkedIn messaging, you still need to do it, because you got to figure out what works. And so while we have the 9 to 11, think about it, right? The reason we have the 9 to 11 touch points is because we got to find out for this buyer what works. I don't know the answer what works for every single industry. And someone was like, do you know the head of data in DAC in Germany and Berlin? It's like, no, I don't know what has that data.
No.
But what I do have is a framework and a formula you can test with multiple different touch points to figure out, does email work better? Does calling work better? And does LinkedIn work better? And so what we do is, once we figure out what works, we do more of that and we do less of the thing that doesn't. Very simple process.
Man, it is, I always say a line, feelings are 100% real, but they don't always reflect reality.
Yeah.
And so you could have a feeling that cold calling sucks and I don't want to do it because I don't like it.
Yeah.
Well, that feeling is real. But the reality is there's buyers out there who would love to purchase via a cold call.
Yeah.
And it's just so interesting. You mentioned you don't like email. So you personally, as a CEO?
I despise email. I have a VA that goes to the email and everything. Like, I do not like it.
That's crazy. That's actually how I like to be pitched.
Okay.
Is on
I hate it.
I've never been closed through a cold call.
Okay.
TikTok DM.
Okay.
Or LinkedIn DM.
Okay.
Sometimes. Yeah, it'll go there. But I would say email's the best, man, for me. And I think, but to your point,
in real time, we're bringing up this point.
We're proving the point.
Yeah.
That everyone's different.
Yeah.
Right? So that, for me, it sounds like you're just reaffirming what every rep should be. For the reps listening right now.
Yeah.
You don't know how your prospect's going to respond to outreach. So why not just do the outreach that is needed? So video, LinkedIn message, cold call, email.
Correct.
And kind of put all those together and see which one sticks.
Correct.
And go from there.
I'm not married to a tactic. I'm married to the process. I do not care. If something stops working, we're going to figure it out. I tell people to do videos because nobody gets them.
Yeah.
Does it take more effort to do? Yeah. But guess what? That's why no one's doing them. So you should probably do them. So that's the reason that I say that. Until I see that does not occur and everyone in the world's doing it, then I would change my mind. But that's not happening. So I think that's the way that a lot of people think about it, is like, how can I just do multiple things to figure out what I need to double down on and then continuously execute on that?
Here's a question for you. So out of the reps that you train, the ones who are constantly struggling, what are they doing in their process that's like always seems to have a pattern of seeing this at that last company, this guy's doing exactly what that girl was doing at that last company. What are the reps who are having constant challenges? What's that pattern?
So that's a good question. There are three things that I'll mention. Number one is they are not organized. And this sounds so simple, like manage your time. And I know people have kids and things of that nature, so I get it. But it really is, they're not organized.
Wow.
An organized schedule leads to organized results. A sporadic schedule leads to sporadic results. And so I can look at a rep's calendar and tell you why they're not doing well or why they are doing well. And so my team, when I had them, we never missed a number as an SDR team. And the reason for that is I had them by the hour, they had to be doing something and they had to show me what that was. Now, some people may say that's micromanaging. Look, once they set it up, they set it up. But they had to show me, like, what are you doing? Like, okay, and you got to say it in detail. It's like, hey, from 9 to 1, or no, sorry, from 9 to 10, I'm doing cold calling because based on the data, I know this is the highest time for conversion. If I make calls from 9 to 10, I know that I could do about 40 calls, and I know 4 people are going to pick up during this time frame. Okay, cool. Out of those 4, I'm going to get 2 meetings. Great. So you start off the day with 2 wins. Then they're like, okay, but the low period is from 10 to 11. Nobody ever picks up my calls. So I'm going to write emails during that time because there's no reason for me to be on the phone. Okay, cool. From 11 to 12, I'm going to make videos because this also still is a downtime. And I got my energy back up because I just was writing. Now I want to talk again. Cool. 12 to lunch, I make more calls because I'm catching people when they go to lunch. And that's the data that's telling me. Cool. Hey, from 1 to 3, I'm doing admin, catching up. Great. Like, I'm just giving you all an example, but every rep that I coached knew exactly what they were doing hour by hour and how to execute. Sure, were there days they had to go to the doctor, they were sick, or they did other stuff? That was fine, but they knew that for their MMAs, which we call money-making activities, they knew every single day, if I do these things, I can book 1 to 2 meetings per day. And that's why most people on the team, they were successful. And most people, unfortunately, are too sporadic, especially in this work from home environment, which is fantastic, but it's very easy to get distracted. So you need to know what your schedule is. That's number 1. Number 2 is they are stuck in their own ways. So, yep, you know what? I only make cold calls because I just really like cold calls. I'm not willing to try anything else out. I only do emails and that's it. That works if you're really good at that channel and you're overhitting your number. I won't talk to you if that's the case. But some people are just stuck on the one channel that makes them feel comfortable and they're not willing to try everything else out. So you're losing out on opportunities because you are not willing to be uncomfortable in those other channels. And then now you don't have curiosity. So that's going to you're going to end up losing, right? And the other trait that I see is they're not willing to learn about the industry and they're too concerned about tactics and silver bullets. Yes, I do coach on tactics, right?
Yeah.
I can dive into any tactic. I can tell you here's what you need to do. But I always tell reps, we had this workshop last week with the team. It was 8 SDRs and 3 AEs. So we had a mixed group. Great group. This group was awesome. And one of the reps was like, hey, when I call people, I feel like I have the right talk track. I'm doing the right tactics I've seen from LinkedIn or whatever, but it's not landing. And so we listened to the calls and I said, oh, it's because you're not telling any stories. Like, I can give you tactics, but you have no relatable stories of anybody in the industry.
Yeah, you don't know the industry.
So no one trusts you.
Yeah.
Respectfully, I like you, but like no one trusts you because you're not telling any stories. So you're just making calls to make calls. And he's like, oh, so like I told people you got to memorize 3 stories.
3 stories.
When I was at Terminus as an SDR and SDR manager, every rep had to memorize 2 to 3 stories. You got to be able, we would literally call people out in the lunchroom like, hey, what's your story?
You got to have a story.
You got to have a story. And so if you don't have the customer stories, you're going to get cooked. So that was the thing is if you don't know the industry and the buyers and you can't tell stories, it's going to be very hard for you to convert opportunities, especially if you're looking to go be an AE. But I'm speaking for both SDRs and AEs. You got to know your stories.
Yeah, the stories is where I've always thrived. I mean, people who know me are like, man, that guy could tell a story.
Stories.
Which is why I'm in sales, is because I could take a customer story, recognize, oh, you remind me of this person.
Yeah.
Hey, this person drove 400,000 views on LinkedIn through an ad campaign we did. You want to see how? Of course, they're going to want to say how. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's stuff like that. All of that kind of makes sense. I mean, we could talk about work from home versus office, but I mean, I think that one's been talked about a lot. Because I'm a full cycle AE and I've been a full cycle AE for 3.5 years. So I haven't had an SDR team. Do you like that approach for organizations or do you like that SDR split, AE split?
Elaborate.
Well, as a full cycle AE, you're handling all inbound.
Yeah.
You're handling outbound, closing deals, proposals, everything start to finish.
Yeah.
Whereas when you have an SDR motion, right? If you're an SDR, your sole purpose is strictly just to book meetings.
Yeah.
And you handle the inbound for the AEs typically.
Yep.
a AE traditionally would get fed all of the SDR bookings,
Yeah.
as well as being responsible for some of their own outbound
Right.
and closing deals.
Mm.
I think with handling marketing and inbound and everything, as well as outbound, I feel like my day as a full cycle AE can sometimes get very sporadic. 'Cause I'm trying to do 3 things at once.
Yeah,
I close a lot,
for
but
sure.
I'm just curious of what you've seen from our other organizations on if it actually makes a difference to have a split or if it's good to just do full cycle.
I think this is where it does depend on your sales cycle, how complex the sale is, and the motion of sales that you're doing. I believe in most orgs, yes, there should be SDRs. SDRs would go into, typically they're called a velocity, SMB, or commercial AE, which means your full sales cycle. And then from there, you then get promoted into mid-market or enterprise or strategic. That should be the normal path for most companies. The obstacle is most companies can't do that because of what they sell, right? Like it's going to be hard for some SDRs to just hop from booking meetings and then now you got to close a 7-figure deal complex with CTOs. It's a different conversation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's where it doesn't apply. I do believe that the full sales cycle, more of that will start to occur, especially as tools and tech and AI and all this stuff comes into play. So if you can book meetings and close business, you obviously will be more dangerous and you're going to be more valuable in the market. I think though, at the end of the day, that like the full sales cycle, it's going to only grow at the end of the day.
Yeah. My CEO, whenever he sees me closing inbound, he's like, nice, whatever.
Yeah.
When he sees me closing outbound, he's like, dude, let's freaking go.
Take it hype on the
Because
outbounds.
from an executive perspective,
Yeah.
you now don't have to spend marketing dollars on bringing new business in.
Right.
You have a rep who can go out, do the marketing person's job for them and better.
Yep.
Because you're selective when you're outbound.
100%.
So you can close those deals. So yeah, I mean, the full sales cycle, I love it. I mean, I was talking about this earlier, but I'd love to know from your perspective because I had a little bit of my last year, I was kind of like, well, I don't know, like, do I want to do software sales for the long haul?
For sure.
I've been doing it for a long time, and then I kind of had like a finding moment of what I want to do. I was trying to dabble into a little bit like influencer marketing consulting.
Yeah.
Ended up really realizing that this is crazy to say, but it's just where I'm at as far as peace and how I structure my life. I could sell software for another 10 years and be perfectly happy.
Yeah.
And creating content on the side, which I love to do. I love to create content. I love to do this podcast. For you being an SDR, how much of that changed your life and how much of you like, wow, if it wasn't for software sales specifically, because you could have taken any sales job.
Yeah.
You could have been door-to-door sales. You could have been med sales. What about software sales specifically in an SDR motion are you so thankful for?
I did a sales kickoff in Utah for Workfront. They got acquired by Adobe. They call their SDRs ADRs, so account development reps, about 100 of them.
Wow.
And in this sales kickoff, they asked me a similar question. And the answer I gave them was super simple. I was like, I'm always and forever will be thankful for being an SDR because it mentally prepared me for anything.
Mm.
And I made a joke with everybody and said, we're psychotic. We're like sick people because every day we're waking up saying, I'm going to get rejected on the phone.
Yep.
Someone's going to tell me to unsubscribe. Someone's going to tell me to buzz off. Someone's going to tell me to, who knows, kill, whatever it is.
It's a hard job.
And you know you're going to get rejected. That's a very difficult role. And the accomplishment you get is you booked a meeting, but you don't even get to close it. You just book a meeting and people are like, try again next month. As an AE, you could close some big deals and be good for the rest of the year. I'm not saying that's easy. So don't mix my words here. Right. I'm not saying that's easy. I'm just saying the mentality of waking up every day being like, I'm going to lose but I still need to find a way to win. That is life.
Yeah, that is every day.
As a founder, you're fighting every day. Even when you're winning, there's still like, okay, we got to, but I've been able to handle it mostly well because I know I woke up every single day getting destroyed as an SDR. So the mentality that I have is I can never quit. And that mentality will serve you for anything in life that you do.
Amen. What age were you when you were an SDR?
So I was 23, 24.
Yeah, we were like the same age.
23, 24. Yeah.
When we were an SDR.
Yeah.
I tell this story all the time to people who said, how did you excel so fast to AE from SDR? Obviously, you and I are Christians, so we give all the glory to God for every situation we had. However, actually, no, however, God always does it. In addition to God having control over it all.
Don't let him come down on us, bro.
Right. Lord, you get all the credit.
Yeah, don't let him come in here and cook us.
This is not to glorify myself. This is to glorify you. The part that I tell people is that because I was so young, I had just turned 24 years old.
Yeah.
It was like a month after my 24th birthday. I tell people, I said, I actually feel like I got blessed with being in a spot where I didn't know what I didn't know.
Yeah.
I actually didn't know how hard the SDR role was.
No.
So it was that naive attitude that I had of just, well, this is just how every job is. That's in sales. And so I had a lot of naive behavior.
Yeah.
But I'd wake up just like you. Oh, I just get rejected and it's really fun. And I would kind of just say, oh, this is just what everyone does.
Yeah.
And I would do crazy stuff like I would work Australian brands. I tell this story all the time. I'd work from 10 p.m. to like 2 a.m. Chicago time to work with the Australian companies because it was their next day. And so
that's a move.
And so my pipeline was like all Australian brands who like, how is this happening? I'm like, I'm not going to tell you my secrets.
Yeah,
but I just was so naive. And you said a lot of great things, like people are sporadic because they have kids. There's all these things. I feel personally that as an SDR, when you are really young and life hasn't hit you yet with like a family and a house, like you can kind of naively just like go and get it and not have this better than I'm too good for this type of attitude. Do you agree, or do you feel like it can really be anyone at any stage? Because I mean, transparently, I've seen a lot of SDRs.
Yeah.
The best SDRs I've seen, and this is, again, I understand that everyone has capabilities of doing anything in this world. However, I will say age does seem to play a factor because you're having to be so with the trends. And again, it could be because I'm in the influencer marketing industry where you have to know TikTok trends.
It's a little bit different.
And I just saw time and time again that it was like, 20s, 30s of just like, it's their first real like shot at in the tech world. Yeah. They get an SDR role and they're just hungry. They're just going after it. I don't know if that has any weight to it, but I feel like there is a certain lifestyle to being an SDR that is more geared for, man, you just got to kind of give it your all here.
Yeah. So I want to comment on something you said. I agree with you, but there's a bigger story. I don't think that hunger has to do with age.
Okay.
It has to do with your situation. Someone could be 40 and be like, man, I can't pay for my kids.
Yep.
I really
Backs
haven't.
against the wall.
Backs against the wall. I'm going to go be an SDR and I'm going to actually go harder than the 20-year-olds.
Yeah.
How hard you go is the level of commitment you have to accomplish something and based on the situation and scenario that you're in. It doesn't really have to do with age. Now, I will say, if you're younger and you don't have anything going on yet, you are more likely to commit and put in more work, right? It's harder for somebody that maybe is in a comfortable or good situation to commit and put in really hard work because I'm comfortable and I'm situated. Why would I put myself in harm's way? It is easier though for someone younger because you don't have anything yet. Respectfully, And I'm not hating. It's like, that's what I was told when I was getting into it. I wanted to be a global international speaker. And I remember talking to somebody, his name is Pete Leibman. His book is called How to Get Your Dream Job. And I called him and I said, hey, I want to be a speaker like you. And he's like, what have you done? I was like, I graduated college. He's like, that's not enough. like, okay, that's cool, bro, but you haven't done anything. And respectfully, he was right. I haven't graduated college. A lot of people graduate college. It's not inherently, it is special, but it's not in the grand scheme of things. It's not that unique, right? And so that's when I got into sales development. That's when I was like, okay, I need to learn how to sell. And then I got weirdly obsessed with it to the point where it's like, this is what I love to do.
Yeah.
And I can solve most scenarios based on the level of depth of craft that I've taken to do that. Yet if I was a young SDR and I was starting out, dedicate a year just to the craft, it's gonna be very hard for you to lose when you do that. You got such a long, it's a long career.
It is. And like, but again though, like situation plays into it.
Situation plays into it.
My role was, when I first got into software sales, I was an hourly SDR at $20 an hour.
Yeah.
Not most people can take on that type of a job because they have a house, mortgage, family,
situation.
Kids, situations. So my situation was, I was in $50,000 in debt.
Yeah.
I had,
that's what I'm saying. You got to figure it out.
I had no money. My rent was $1,000 a month in the city of Chicago, which was high for me at that time.
Yeah.
And my back was against the wall. And I didn't know what to do besides have fun and sell.
Yeah.
And so it was the situation. And I will say, moving out of my mom and dad's house was the best thing for my back getting against the wall. Yeah. Because when I was at my mom and dad's house, I had that comfortability factor. If I don't get the sale, everything's already taken care of. Love a mom and dad, forever. I just feel like for those listening who are like, I'm just living with mom and dad's for my 20s. And, I think that from my perspective may hinder your ability to really have life challenge you.
Yeah.
And for me personally, when my back is against the wall, I don't necessarily stress out like crazy. I really think I have maybe bouts or weeks where it's like, oh man, I'm really stressed out.
Yeah.
But most of the time I manage it really well, but it's this subconscious just, oh, there's more to do. I can do more. And I don't really stress myself out about it. But then at the end of the month, I'm like, how did I make all this?
Yeah.
And it was just because my body and my mind knows, and the Lord knows, hey, this is what I have to provide this month. And hey, I'm going to trust the Lord and put my hand to the plow and do the best I can at work. And
100%.
The rest the rest is history. So yeah, situations are different. That's probably the best factor for any SDR is like just kind of understanding, all right, what's your situation? What drives you? What makes you tick? And whether you're 40 or 20 or whatever, if you have a situation, you need to get after it, you're going to find a way to get after it.
You will.
And that's the good part as a seasoned AE like myself.
Yeah.
That's what I'd like to see in an SDR is like, I don't care what age you are. I'm just like, what's the situation?
What's the situation and what are you committed to?
What are you committed to?
That's really what it is.
Yeah, that's good, man. I love software sales specifically.
100%.
It's been such a blessing in my life, just the remote work. And even if I had to go in an office 2 to 3 times a week, I wouldn't mind. It's not like a big deal, but it's just the ability to demo a product, sell it, and just kind of quickly move to the next. And your opportunities are kind of, you're right. It depends on the organization. You can sell a lot, but you have to, you have to have a need to have product in this world today. I think nice to haves are becoming less and less required, and you have tools that are consolidating a bunch of things into one. So well said, man. It's the SDR role has kicked off your sales training career, just like everything that you do. And I mean, everything that I do in terms of sales, I had outside sales roles before and those were great.
Yeah.
But there's something special about the
It's different.
software sales community.
Yeah.
When you meet like another AE or you meet someone like yourself who trains primarily software sales companies,
Yeah.
it's a different language.
It's a completely different language.
It's a completely different language. It's a
Yeah.
fun language. It's
Yeah.
like it's just there's just nothing like it. And I'm not obsessed, or my identity is not in the role. I mean, I'm always, you and I always say this, we're Christian, we're Christians first. However, we're called, as God asked you to be back in the sales training.
Yeah.
So you're going to steward it well.
Yeah.
Just like God asked me to be in sales.
100%.
I'm going to steward it well.
Yeah.
I'm not going to just say, oh, well, I'm just going to give it to God and not do anything.
Yeah.
No, I was called to be here, so I'm going to take it seriously.
Yeah, 100%.
And so kind of wrapping on software sales, the world of sales training, what's next? What's 2026 look like? Because this is a big year for you. We've been best friends for probably 5 years now.
It's crazy to think
5
about
years. And so this will be our 6th year of friendship.
Yeah.
Going into 2026. You just turned 33, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
What's this year look like?
So we have a director of operations at AMP Social. His name is Steph. And he has the highest level of discernment I've ever met in an individual. He's also a Christian as well. And he always brings things to me. And I'm like, okay, that's interesting. And then it ends up happening. And then I'm like, okay, we got to pay attention to whatever you're saying.
Yeah.
Right? More. And so he always has a word for the year. As we worked together for the past, I guess, year and a half. So he had one this year. He had one this year. Well, he already has one for next year. So this will explain the answer to the question. This year for him, it was growth. Now, for the first 4 months, we changed the model because I was doing production. We were doing creative work. We were doing like influencer marketing. I was doing consulting. We were doing a lot. We had a list of things.
Mm-hmm.
And so we stopped doing that. And I was like, I don't think you got the right word, bro. I don't think you read the right verses. Like, it's 4 months. We're not closing deals. We're not doing anything. I'm just being real with y'all. Like, it was a very hard time because I was like, okay, like, I know we're supposed to switch this. It's a year of growth, but what's going on? Maybe I'm supposed to just grow as a person. But at the end of this year, we have a higher profit margin than I've ever had in the business since I've started. And we're doing less overall work, but the results is more impactful in the work we're doing. And everyone is excited and rejuvenated and working on a level I haven't seen before. So I'm saying all that as in, he said, the word for next year is cultivate. Now, cultivate, what exactly does that mean? In short, it means that everything that you've planted seeds in, you are harvesting and nurturing that to help it grow even more.
Mm-hmm.
So for the past decade, I've been creating content on LinkedIn. I've trained a lot of people. I've done a lot of webinars. I've been to a lot of places. And next year, when we talk about cultivating, it's activating all that work and everything I've done on a deeper and a whole new level. So I'll give you an example. One of the things that we're heavily focusing on next year is going to on-sites, and we already are doing this right now, and filming those on-sites, getting more testimonials from clients. And I'm going to bring, and I'm already committed to this, Garrett, who you've met. I think you've met Garrett on the team. We've met him before.
Yeah.
His name is, we call him G. He's going to follow me around to everything, to cultivate what's happening here and to show what's going on.
Yeah.
So for me, my commitment is on a whole new level to really empower and change behaviors and beliefs in organizations so they can really focus on being selling and human in an AI world. And we're going to cultivate that by not only doing more in-person workshops with these clients, but to make it an experience. People are going to come out of there and not only be like, we got good at outbound. I was like, that felt different. Like, I feel rejuvenated to do this now on a level that I've never even experienced before. And with that, we're going to now push more on more channels. We're doing YouTube, we're doing X, we're doing Instagram. And that's what this year is going to be. It's just cultivating everything I've done for a decade and going all out.
Well said, man.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to, stick around by your side throughout 2026 and just see how it goes. And
Yeah.
just, yeah, if anyone's listening, you need a sales trainer for your software sales team, hire Morgan. My company hired him 5.5 years ago, and that's how we first met.
Yeah.
And yeah, definitely hit him up on LinkedIn, Morgan J. Ingram. I would say for the SDRs listening out there, you have someone from like Morgan who's, just in a position he's at now, training teams, flying all over the world, working with the best companies, started out as an SDR.
Mm.
Myself started out as an SDR 5.5 years ago at $20 an hour, right? It's humble beginnings. And I would say for any rep listening, whether you're an SDR or an AE, think about the opportunity, right? And I think the ones who really get rewarded in sales are the ones that can hang on, the ones that can be in it for a while. And Morgan's been doing it for 10 plus years. So
Yeah.
just a testament to the sales skill set
Yeah.
that embodies what life reflects. SDR, tons of rejections, tons of issues.
Yeah.
Life, always rejections, always lots of
Same
issues.
thing.
There's a lot of good and there's a lot of wins.
Yeah.
But being in sales really does help you navigate the storms that life inevitably throws at you. So
100%.
love the track that you're going on. Excited to see you train more sales teams. Excited to watch the content. And yeah, once again, thank you for being on, man.
Yeah.
Really,
Thanks for having me.
really been a pleasure.
Yeah,
Everyone, do me a favor, like this video if you're watching on YouTube. Hit the review button if you're watching on Spotify. We'd appreciate a review. And if you like the episode and you just want to tell Morgan, hey, I saw you on Will's podcast, shoot him a message. You're always very responsive to
I'm active.
to the people. All right, guys. Thank you again. Later.